The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Hann. And now, here's Nico de Hann.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. This is Nico de Hann. How's everybody doing? It's Friday, May 18th, 2012. And it's time to talk about your health, fitness, and diet. How's everybody doing today? My call-in number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the show. I also have an international number, which is 727-445-1044. Also have a new Health Signals newsletter out, and it's got the recipe for your Tiger Butter Brew or Bulletproof Coffee. So check that out. And you can contact me by email at nico@tfnn.com. And, of course, it's a beautiful, beautiful day here in downtown Clearwater, about 85 degrees. Hope everybody's doing great in the chat room, streaming live on the Internet, on Tiger TV, and on the radio. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here. We had a little rain a couple days ago, cleaned everything out. Everything's green. Everything's beautiful. Love this weather in Florida. Well, folks, if you're not living in Florida, come on down for a visit, because this is the time of year that's really nice. It's still not too hot, and the beaches are a little more empty, and it's a great time to be in Florida for sure. I want to start off today with, let me see here, get this up here, get this iPad going. Been reading a new book, and this is by Russell Means, who's a Lakota chief, also an actor in Hollywood. You may have seen him in, Last No Mohicans. He was Chingachgook. That's that latest version that was in the 1990s. A great film, by the way. And he talks about, as far as the Indian, the American Indian, the indigenous people of North America, he says our time is based on matriarchal or lunar time. The entire universe, all the stars in the heavens, rotate on a cycle of 280 days. This all happens to be the gestational time for the human female. This is the basis for the Aztec calendar and the Mayan calendar. The growing hysteria built during the build-up to 2012 has been an amusing phenomenon. According to the Mayans, who are most familiar with their own calendar, the paradigm shift associated with 2012, or the end of the world scenario envisioned by many whites, would not actually arrive in the year 2012 of the Christian calendar. When a year is calculated at 280 days by matriarchal time, the Mayans tell us that the year 2012 actually came and went long ago, over 500 years ago, in fact, in 1492. There's your paradigm shift and the end of the world, all rolled up into one. And today I pick up the paper and there's this study, and this is very shocking to most of you, I'm sure. It says chain food is not that healthy. Plenty of restaurants advertise their efforts to offer healthy choices, and it's possible to eat carefully just about everywhere. But researchers say nearly all the entries they reviewed at 245 U.S. chains fail to meet federal guidelines. Think about it, and you can figure out some of the likely culprits. Burgers with cheese and bacon and sauce, pastas with 4 cheeses and sausages, oversized servings of meat, salads covered in fatty, salty dressings. And this study was published online at the Public Health Nutrition. Researchers looked online at the nutritional content of over 30,000 menu items, including those from the children's menus, from the 245 brands of restaurants from February to May of 2010. They found that 96% of them failed to meet recommendations for the combinations of calories, sodium, fat, saturated fat set by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The restaurants included fast food, buffets, takeout, family type, and upscale restaurants. It goes on to say the majority of the entries did not exceed 660 calories, one-third of the calories of the USDA estimates that the average adults need each day. Many items may appear healthy based on calories, but actually they're very unhealthy when you consider the important nutrient criteria. Now, this is all fine and good, of course, and we know that chain food restaurant food probably is not good. And most of it has to really do with where this food comes from. Not so much the calories, not so much that if you ate a burger and you threw some bacon and cheese on it, it might not be bad at all. It depends where the meat comes from, where the bacon comes from, of course, what the cheese is made out of. So that's really the difference there. So, it's an interesting study, but when they start skewing the details and not giving you enough information, I think that's the bad part. So we really have to know where this stuff really comes from. Now, I've got a call in, Jeff from Miami Beach, so I'd like to go to him. So, Jeff, how's it going today?
Going well, Nico. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Just have a question about whey protein powder.
Yeah.
Whether it's really necessary to buy the organic, grass-fed whey protein powder. And as you've said many, many times on your show, that, all animals, if they're not eating their natural diet, their fat cells get impacted. The beef, if the beef is being fed antibiotics and put on hormones, and it's being basically not treated properly and living a stressful lifestyle, that'll impact the fat and the omega-3, omega-6 fat ratios of the animal.
Yeah.
But protein powders, whey protein powder is typically a fat-free product.
Yes.
So how does that carry down into the being an impact on a whey protein powder?
If you're going to go with whey protein, you really need to definitely go with a grass-fed. There's no doubt about that. Stay away from any soy products, things like that. I use it, and I usually generally as a I use like a half of a shake before I work out, and sometimes if I don't eat lunch, I'll just have the whole thing afterwards. But and I use it, and I don't use it a lot, but maybe 3 times a week I'll use that as a substitute meal, and it works fine for me. I don't have any negative things that go with it. My wife can't really deal with it because of her problem with there's still some milk products in there that don't seem to be too good for her digestive system. So you're going to have to weigh that. I wouldn't use it as a staple on an everyday basis, but a couple of times a week, I don't see a problem with it. And if you get it from a great source, then and there's some good ones on the web. I get mine from Primal Nutrition, and that's a pretty good source. There's plenty of good sources out there though. Yeah,
I guess my real question, though, is that I wouldn't expect that I would need to be concerned about getting a grass-fed whey protein powder because there's no fat. And if the grass feeding affects the fat of the animal and there's no fat in the protein powder, why is that impacting the protein powder?
Well, it also affects the protein, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it impacts the meat as well.
Sure.
It impacts the
not as much as the fat does. Don't get me wrong.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Yeah, because when you go to like a real good place for a steak, then you still got a pretty decent product, even if it's partially corn-fed. So the fats really do make the biggest difference in the grass-fed part, but the protein source. And of course, if you're talking about factory farms, then you're talking about the animal not getting sunlight and not the stress factor like you mentioned before.
Okay.
So those things will impact the protein just as well.
All right, great. You've answered my question again, Nico. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, you just, we're learning as we go into this, and, just have to be careful and try to make the best choices you can. Certainly, supplements play a big role in this, too, because I do supplement my fat, and I do use, the great organic whey protein powders. They do seem to work well for me. Everybody's a little bit different on that. But, again, don't overdo it. It's just kind of like any kind of food is mix it up. Is always a good thing to do. Don't eat one thing all the time. Don't be, if you like chicken, don't eat chicken every day. That's just the way it goes. Another thing here is I've got an article on eggs. 3 eggs a day keep the doctor away. You've heard that about apples. The persistent myth that cholesterol causes heart disease has scared many of us from eating eggs on a regular basis. Of course, if you go into a restaurant, you see, people eating omelets and scrambled eggs with just the whites of the eggs. And that's a big problem as far as I'm concerned. But there is absolutely no research that links egg consumption to heart disease. A recent review of the scientific literature published in Current Opinion in Clinical Nutrition and Metabolic Care clearly indicates that egg consumption has no discernible impact on blood cholesterol levels in 70% of the population. In the other 30% of the population, eggs do increase both circulating LDLs and HDL cholesterol. You've probably been conditioned to believe that anything that raises LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol, should be avoided like a plague. But even the medical mainstream has come to realize that all LDL cholesterol is not the same. It's true that small, dense LDL particles have been linked to heart disease. This is particularly due to the fact that that they are much more susceptible to oxidation damage than the normal LDL cholesterol products. However, egg consumption increases the proportion of large, buoyant LDL particles that have been shown to be a protective against heart disease. Egg consumption also shifts individuals from the LDL pattern B to pattern A. Pattern B indicates the preponderance of small, dense LDL particles. Those are the ones that are risk factors for heart disease, while pattern A indicates a preponderance of large and buoyant LDL particles, which protect us from heart disease, and that's a good thing. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense foods available. One egg provides 13 essential nutrients, all in the yolk, contrary to belief. The yolk is far higher in nutrients than the white. Eggs are an excellent source of B vitamins, which are necessary for vital functions in the body, and also provide good quantities of vitamin A, essential for normal growth and development. Vitamin E in egg products protects against heart disease and some cancers. Eggs also contain vitamin D, which promote mineral absorption and good bone health. Eggs are rich in iodine, making thyroid hormones and phosphorus essential for healthy bones and teeth. Eggs are also a good source of antioxidants known to protect the eye. Therefore, increased plasma concentration in individuals consuming eggs are also of interest, especially in those populations susceptible to developing macular degeneration and eye cataracts. There's absolutely no reason to limit your consumption to 3 or 4 eggs per week, as recommended by the Healthy Heart nutritional guidelines. In fact, consuming 2 or 3 eggs per day would probably be better to boost your health and protection than a multivitamin supplement. Eggs are truly one of nature's superfoods. Of course, it's important to remember that you get the variety that are pasture chickens, not the vegetarian eggs. So, something to think about. Folks, pick up my Health Signals newsletter. I got a new issue out, packed full of great stuff, and of course the famous Tiger Brew is in there, and I've got a couple of different recipes in there, so you'll get a kick out of this. There's some videos in there showing you how it's made. Very in-depth article about that, along with the usual other stuff and recipes in there. Give me a call, folks. It's 877-927-6648. It's Nico. I'll be back in a minute.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of the money game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
Kate Stalter's exciting newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, has just launched, and now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial. Every Wednesday afternoon, Kate sends out her weekly newsletter to her subscribers, where she focuses on small cap stocks with market caps under $2 billion, as well as low-priced equities with share prices ranging from $5 to $12. Kate tracks a variety of stocks with a combination of strong technical support and solid fundamentals. Many of the stocks featured will be recent IPOs. These newer issues are often some of the biggest price gainers in the market and provide an excellent opportunity for substantial gains if timed correctly. You can catch Kate Stalter live on Tiger TV with her Small Cap Roundup every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and visit TFNN.com right now to get your 2-week free trial to her brand new newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, while locking in the low introductory monthly rate of only $37.50 per month, almost a 50% discount. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. My call-in number here is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to join the program, remind you that my new Health Signals newsletter is out right now, and it's coming across the wires, so check it out, and I've got a lot of great stuff in there. So, check those things out. If you want any past issues, just email me, and I'll pick a topic, and I'll dig out a past issue for you that reflects that. Of course, our shows are archived on the TFNN website, also on iTunes, and, of course, on my new website, Living a Primal Lifestyle, is where you're going to get the video feed of all the broadcasts. Now, on the phones right now, I have Garo from California. So let's go to Garo. How are you doing today?
How are you, sir?
Doing fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure.
All right. I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first one is that do you use that extract of the olive leaf oil, and how do you use it? My second question is regarding astaxanthin. That is the algae that salmon fish eats and gets that muscle out of that algae, and they say that it's a very strong antioxidant. Do you believe in it, and do you take it or not? And what do you recommend? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. First of all, the olive leaves do have a extract in there, a real good nutrient. And I haven't used it as a supplement. It is in the essential greens that I use.
Like what?
I have this auric greens that we use, and there is a little bit of that ingredient from the olive leaves in that. So that's the way I've used it. I haven't used the single dose of it, but I've heard really good things about it. As far as the seaweed that the salmon eat, again, this is where they get the nutrient from. So, it's definitely got to be good for you. I haven't used that either, and really don't know a lot about it.
I see.
Are you using these products?
Yes, sir. I use both of them. I use that antazactin every day. Mm-hmm. I'm an old man. I'm 65 years old, 65, 66. Still, I do weightlifting. I press 200 pounds. I'm a vegetarian. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I eat whatever you say is no good. Honest to God, I've been doing this for so many years, for about 20, 30 years. All I eat is carb. Mm-hmm. I don't eat no animal food, absolutely. Right. And I just run 2 hours a day. I do weightlifting and so on. But regarding the eggs that you were talking about, yes. I agree with you 100%. If you eat the yolk raw, if you heat up the yolk of the egg, that oxidates the inside the cholesterol and becomes very bad cholesterol. Mm-hmm. But if you eat them raw, that is an excellent cholesterol. I agree with that. But having all that nutrition in the egg yolk after frying it, mm-hmm. It's not very good for the body. That is my take. I don't say you're wrong.
Right, I understand.
This is my take out of it, and I don't believe in animal food at all.
Right.
At all. The human body is not made for animal food, but this is the way I am, and I don't weight gain. All I eat is grains, veggies, and beans, and so forth, and I'm a very healthy person.
Yeah, you sound
I'm 65, 66 years old, and I climb mountains and so on. I'm very active in sports. Very
wonderful.
Much.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the information, and thanks so much for calling.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And it comes to a point that everybody's a little bit different, and certainly people, there are some people on a vegetarian diet that do quite well on it. I'm not one of those people. As far as the point that he made that we're not made to eat animal food, well, I would differ with that simply because hydrochloric acid is in our stomachs. And there is no animal on Earth that is a herbivore that has hydrochloric acid. They have a much different stomach than that. So, that would be my first question to people on a vegetarian diet. Why do we have the hydrochloric acid in us? As far as the eggs are concerned, and we're running a little bit short on the time here, coming up on a break, but I'll continue after the break on this, is when you're frying stuff, it certainly starts to destroy a little bit of it. But the studies have shown it doesn't destroy that much. And I'll go into that a little bit after the break. So please stick around for that. The number here again is 877-927-6648. I'll be right back.
You've heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've always thought about trying out his newsletter, Market Insights. Well, now is the perfect time. For a limited time only, when you sign up for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights, we'll send you a free copy of Tom O'Brien's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. If you decide to cancel within the 2-week trial period, pay absolutely nothing and keep Tom's book as a free gift from us. Tom sends out his daily newsletter each morning by 9:30 a.m. with trade recommendations, including price targets and price stops. As recently as March 21st, Market Insights subscribers closed out a position for more than a 25% profit in just over 2 weeks. To get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights, along with your free copy of The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Supplies are limited for this one-of-a-kind special, so act today and don't let this opportunity pass you by. Offer only valid for new subscribers. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when temporary market spikes move against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped, and you have the advantage of keeping your trades open even when the market temporarily spikes against you. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique short-term binary options that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I'm very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And before the break, we were talking to Garo from California, and particularly at the end of the conversation, we were discussing, how food changes when you cook it. And what he's talking about is AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. And these they affect food in a couple of different ways. First, outside the body, and then inside the body. And there's a difference between the two. Now, outside the body, when you start cooking things, the glycation starts to take place in the food. Of course, if you start burning things to a crisp, then the nutrition is lost. That just makes sense. The other form of the glycation end products is what happens in the body itself. So when sugar molecules, when you're taking in carbohydrates, there's a sugar molecules bind to the proteins. Okay, so when they bind to the proteins, they get into the protein and they start oxidizing. And that's what the sugar does. And that doesn't matter where the sugar comes from, or whether you're actually eating sugar, or whether you're eating grains, or whether you're eating any kind of carbohydrates. This starts to happen. The difference being, and what happens is, these things start to bind together, and they get very sticky and gluey inside the body. This is what causes wrinkles. It causes, in your organs, it starts to harden the organs. So you can see how bad that is for your arteries, for your liver, things like that. Now, there's lots of studies done on this, and this is definitely a fact. The difference being in the studies, they found that the glycation end products inside the body are about 1,000 times more damaging than the ones outside the body, because when you start digesting the glycation end products through your food in the body, the hydrochloric acid breaks that down. And so there's very, very little damage that actually takes place from that unless you're eating things that are really burnt well. He's right that if you take a hard-boiled egg, it's not quite as nutritious, and the oils have solidified more, so you're not getting quite the nutrition that you would from something that would be either raw or maybe soft boiled or fried with the yolk being runny. So yolk being runny is a better product for you to eat. So that's kind of how it works. A lot of research on there, a lot of people at both ends of this, okay? But the latest research that I've read, and it seems to work for me fine, is that the cooking process really has helped the digestion of these proteins for us in much more than the damage that takes place. After all, human beings, we've been eating cooked food for many, many years. Some theories are 200,000 years. Some are maybe 30, 40,000 years when we really started extensively cooking food. But for many, many generations, we've been doing that. We do eat things raw too. But in this day and age, the better the product, the more you can eat it raw naturally. So sushi is great, and even some beef you can eat raw, and cooking it is fine too. So I don't have a problem with that. Again, I know that he is a vegetarian, works very well for him. It doesn't work that well for me. I've tried it. I tried for a few years in the 60s, and I found a loss of energy for me, and particularly on grains. Grains, as we've talked about many times on the show, have phytic acid in it. Phytic acid is a big irritant to the body. It does cause glycation, and it's just hard for us to digest. We're not herbivores as far as I'm concerned, and many studies have pretty much proven that. And the biggest study, of course, is the history of the world, where man has been a meat eater for thousands and thousands of years, and this is the way we developed our brain. Again, some people are vegetarians and do quite well. Of course, there are ways that you can be a vegetarian and still use some of these products like the beans and the grains. And what you need to do, of course, what I would recommend doing is, first of all, soaking them maybe for 48 hours, maybe as long as 72 hours. Letting them sprout is another method. Fermenting them is another method. And all these methods are doing is getting rid of the phytic acid and getting rid of some of the other proteins that are in there that make it hard for us to digest and get the nutrients out of it. And as we've discussed on the show before, indigenous people have used these methods for many generations. The problem is, in our modern food, this is not going on. When they're making cereals and things like that, there's an extrusion process. They use very high heat, and so none of those soaking and traditional methods are taking place. So, you have to do your research. And if you want to find out about what's good for you, you've got to try various different things. And he mentioned some great products out there, like the olive leaves, and using things from the sea that the fish are eating is naturally where they get the nutrients from. The thing about grains is that cows eat the grass, and when the seed comes on the grass, they eat that, and they don't have too much trouble with them. We as human beings do, and grains are a really seasonal thing. And we've discussed many times before that eating seasonal is the optimum thing, because then you're much more in tune with the earth. And I'm a big advocate of being in tune with the earth. The trouble with modern society is we've really put the earth down in a sense that, the earth is something that we have to conquer. And that's why I'm so drawn to the spirituality of the indigenous people, and especially the American indigenous people, the American Indians. So, that's just the way. That's just me, perhaps. Okay. Article. This was sent by one of our listeners here, and this is the title of this is "Sugar Can Make You Dumb, U.S. Scientists Warn." Eating too much sugar can eat away at your brain power, according to U.S. scientists who published a study Tuesday showing how a steady diet of high fructose corn syrup saps lab rats' memories. Researchers at the University of California, UCLA, fed two groups of rats a solution containing high fructose corn syrup, a common ingredient in processed foods, as drinking water for 6 weeks. One group of rats was supplemented with brain-boosting omega-3 fatty acids in the form of flaxseed oil and DHA, while the other group was not. Before the sugar drinks began, the rats were enrolled in a 5-day training session in a complicated maze. After 6 weeks on the sweet solutions, the rats were then placed back in the maze to see how they fared. The DHA-deprived animals were slower, and their brains showed a decline in synaptic activity. And their brain cells had trouble signaling each other, disrupting the rats' ability to think clearly and recall the route they learned 6 weeks earlier. A closer look at the rat's brain revealed that those who were not fed the DHA supplements had developed signs of resistance to insulin, a hormone that controls blood sugar and regulates brain function. Because insulin can penetrate the blood-brain barrier, the hormone may signal neurons to trigger reactions that disrupt learning and cause memory loss. In other words, eating too much fructose can interfere with the insulin's ability to regulate how the cells use and store sugar, which is necessary for processing thoughts and emotions. Insulin is important for the body, controlling blood sugar, but it can play a different role in the brain, where insulin appears to disrupt memory and learning. One study shows that high fructose diet harms the brain as well as the body. And this is high fructose corn syrup, which is normally found in sodas, condiments, applesauce, baby food, and other processed snacks. The average American consumes over 40 pounds of this high fructose corn syrup. While the study did not say what equivalent might be for humans, you can draw your own conclusions from this. And eating a high fructose diet over long term alters the brain's ability to learn and remember information, but adding omega-3s to the meals can help minimize the damage. So even though if you have high fructose corn syrup in there, supposedly that diminishes or that helps balance out the sugar. Of course, that makes sense. If you're going to be supplementing fat, especially animal fat or the oils from coconut oil or palm oil into your diet, you're going to counteract some of that sugar. It's not going to enter into your body quite as fast. Very important part. And of course, this study was done by high fructose corn syrup, and I think the reason they probably did the study that way is because that acts very quickly into the body. I mean, it's probably 10 times, maybe 20 times as fast entering the cells as sugar, as any other product they may use, just sugar itself perhaps. Sugar is a combination of sucrose and fructose, where high fructose corn syrup is a higher blend of the fructose. So that's probably why they're using it. But remember that many carbohydrates enter the body and get converted to sugar in one form or another as a sucrose. So when you eat a diet of high carbohydrates, you're going to have the same type of reaction. So the more omega-3s you take, the more different types of fats that you enter into your diet, that's going to balance things out. Okay? Another study here that, well, this was in the paper today. It's could red wine help fight Alzheimer's? And this research is quite extensive. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the thing about the active ingredient in red wine, of course, resveratrol, is an anti-aging, gives you an anti-aging boost. It's very good for you. And the thing about all these types of nutrients is that you've got to have the right combination of it. So that's why when you're picking out supplements, you need to really get to the source and find out where these supplements come from. Because you get too much of something, even in, I think this article here says, speaking of side effects, the study also found that like any powerful agent, resveratrol can have toxic effects on too high doses. A high dose, researchers found, induces changes in the cell and their activity, making them vulnerable to early death and insufficient fuel use. For the growing numbers of people considering using that, they should serve as a warning that more is not always better. And of course, that goes without saying that just pretty much anything we're talking about, unless you're talking about the staples. Staples being a good source of protein and a good source of fat. And when you're doing your carbohydrates, these have to be good sources also. Okay, so in the living a primal lifestyle type diet, the primal type diet, we're talking about a more high-fat diet. High-fat being used as fuel instead of the other fuel being sugar, which if you're a vegetarian, you're probably burning sugar, unless you're introducing a lot of different types of fats into your diet. And the studies have shown that fats from vegetables are not processed the same as fats from animals or the tropical fats from coconut or palm oil. So, something to consider. Another thing to consider is that chickens fed caffeine, banned antibiotics, and Prozac are often used in the factory farms chickens. They're really not best for your diet. So, when you're going to these fast food places, you're getting meat and chickens from probably not too good sources. So, you know, it's hard when you're traveling. And if you're going out to eat for lunch or things like that, you're going to be subject to whatever you're going to be picking. So if you go to a fast food restaurant, you know you're probably getting the worst food. If you go to a more mom and pop type restaurant, your chances of getting food that's prepared better, that is probably using better products to fix it, and you're just going to get a better product there. If you pack your own lunch, you know what you're getting, because then you can have the choice of going to a farmer's market, to a health food store, or buying from some of these great online sources. And online, I would go to a directory called Eat Wild and find good sources in your area. And that means you're going to be able to pick more regional stuff, more local food. And that's going to be much better a source of food for you. So no matter whether you're a vegetarian or you're eating the primal diet, local food will put you in tune with what's going on around you. Much better for things like having your colds and flus and all these little things that try to attack us. So if you're more in tune with what's happening locally, then probably you're not going to get as much sinus attack. You're not going to get a cold or the flu and things that are going to sap your energy. And that's just another thing that's going to bring down your immune system. So, check that out. Another thing to check out is my Health Signals newsletter. I've got some great exercises in here, too. Sorry, it's a little blurry on a couple of these exercises. I apologize for that, but you can still read them pretty well and get the gist of it. The transfer over to the JPEG wasn't that great from who sent me this. But, some fabulous recipes here. Primal goulash. I've got a great recipe in here for beef and walnut salad. So check those things out. One more chance to give me a call at 877-927-6648. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with my final segment. Stick around, folks.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. It's that time of year again, and the Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway is back. Every day in June, Monday through Friday, we'll be giving away a Great Panther Silver 1-ounce silver bar, and all you have to do to enter is visit the front page of TFNN.com and fill out your entry. Great Panther Silver and TFNN wishing you a great start to the summer. Sign up today to have a chance to win a 1-ounce silver bar during the Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway the whole month of June at TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. I got a couple of questions from the chat room. Ken from Philly. Nico, is it better to eat fried egg with the yolk runny as opposed to hard-boiled egg? Well, both are good. Hard-boiled, again, when you're talking about the yellow part of the egg, it's mostly oil, fat. And what you want to do is make it a little bit runny. You don't have to do too much, but the harder it gets, of course, the more your body has to break that down. So I would say that eating fried egg with the yolk runny is very good. Hard-boiled with, don't make it so hard. You can make it a little bit runny in there, too. So it really doesn't matter. You can poach them. Doesn't really make too much difference. There's a small difference, but yet there is a difference. Joe says he's making his first batch of sauerkraut. Excellent, of course. When you sour things, then you want to get these foods into you because it's really good for your stomach. It brings those nutrients into your stomach to help digest foods. Omega-3 protects the body very well. Resveratrol is a great antioxidant, Joe says, but alcohol toxic to the nerves. Well, depends on the alcohol. Really great alcohol drinks are not that bad for you. They do stimulate a lot of things, and the damage, I would say, is minimal. Okay, the last couple of things here. Here are some myths that have been handed down by the history books about the indigenous people of America, the American Indian. The myth of filth. Since indigenous people live in a society where everything is organic and returns the elements from which it came, there is no accumulation of trash. Add to this the fact there was no overcrowding or overpopulation, and you see that what in modern times is considered trash is in the indigenous society is nothing but fertilizer. With no accumulation of trash, there is no breeding ground for disease. The myth of disease. Disease was virtually unknown before the arrival of the white man, as demonstrated by the Indians' lack of resistance to European diseases, which devastated the Indian populations throughout the Americas. Archaeologists were astounded to find virtually no tooth decay among pre-Columbian Indian graves they robbed. Let me turn the page here again. What's happening here? My page is stuck. Oh, there we go. Now all of a sudden I get 10 pages turned. What's the deal? Oh, there we go. Okay, so the other myth, myth of early mortalities. Elders of the Plains Indians tell us that before the arrival of the whites, it was common to live 150 to 200 years. Since their arrivals, Indian lifespan has continued to shrink. Now it is 43 years on the Pine Ridge Sioux Indian reservations. The myth of famine. Indian people lived in balance with the environment. In times of food shortages, fewer children were born. Food supplies were myriad and diverse, not dependent on monocrop, where the failure of a single plant or animal can bring disaster. The myth of savagery, which could be more savage than the creators of the Inquisitions. Europeans are famous for the different types of torture they perfected on each other. Victims were drawn and quartered, buried alive, tortured on the rack, and the list goes on. And the last one is the myth of ignorance. Who could be more ignorant than the entire society which, claiming a high degree of sophistication, poisons its environment, creates weapons capable of destroying all life on Earth? No indigenous society on Earth is ever so ignorant as to do this either. Do either one of those. Okay, a couple of things there, so thought you'd enjoy that. Thanks a lot for sticking around, folks. I appreciate it, and I'll be back next week with another show. And check out my newsletter. It's a great issue this week, so check it out, and this is how you're going to remain healthy and wealthy and wise, so you can do your trading. Stick around for the next show. I think Tom O'Brien's coming up at 4 o'clock, so thanks for sticking around with me. Appreciate it.